everyone, and welcome back to the Steward's office. I'm Saira, and this week we have a special guest with us. We've got Nyah India, who is a fashion and F1 content creator. So welcome to the podcast. Your official summons, technically, to the Steward's office.
Thank you very much.
I know. It's going to go better than any of the drivers, so don't worry.
This is okay.
You're good. You're
okay.
good.
I can have a breather then. You.
So you post so much F1 and fashion content, and I have loved watching your content since pretty much when I started the Steward's office out. You were like one of the first people I followed, and absolutely love the way you pull together your content. I have not great fashion sense, so I absolutely adore watching other people put outfits together, and you put things together I don't ever think of. Like, they're so great to watch and look at and like help me piece together things, but I'm like, yeah, I never would have thought of these things. So I'm super excited to talk to you about fashion and F1 and all those sorts of things today.
Thank you. So am I. I'm excited to talk about it.
So let's kick off with how you got into Formula One, how you got into motorsport, like what sort of age were you? What got you into it?
I'm a new fan. I only got into it like just over a year ago, but my friends had watched it and one of them had wanted me to get into it, but I just never really did. And then I remember she invited me to Silverstone last year, and I will forever regret not saying yes to that. But it was a lot of money for me, and I wasn't really into F1 at the time. But I eventually was like, okay, I'm going to watch Drive to Survive, get me into it, kind of know who the like drivers are, who I'm watching now when I go and watch F1 at the weekend. And I was hooked from Drive to Survive. And then I was like, okay, so I know what's going on. Then started like watching the races and everything. But all my friends were Lando fans. So that's basically how why Lando is my favorite driver. I was kind of introduced to it that way. So I was like, okay, this is my driver. But yeah, no, I regret not saying yes to Silverstone, even though I had no clue what was going on F1, because it was such a good race. Like the fact that then I had to watch it last year, and I was like, this is such a good race. I was in there, so annoyed at myself. I was like, I could slap myself. I know, but I have to just think it's fine. One day you'll be there, it'll be fine. But it'll happen. But yeah, that's basically how I got into it. And then it turns out my dad's been watching it for ages, not religiously, but he'll watch it. And I didn't know that until I was like, oh, I'm into F1 now. And he was like, oh. And I was like, so I could have been watching it all this time and you didn't tell me. But at the same time, I'm glad I got into it when I did, because I've met those certain people, because I created TikTok and did it through that, how I met people that I'm like, well, I wouldn't have met those people if I'd have gone through it that way. So whenever I'm like, oh, I wish I was into it before, I think, actually, no, because I'm happy the way that it is with the people I've met and everything like that.
No, I love that with your dad, because I was the same. Like, me and my sister started watching it, and my dad was like, you know, Ayrton Senna is my favorite driver. And I was like, what? And he was like, oh, you would have loved watching it when if you were alive back then. And I was like, why did you not? He's tried to get me into cricket for years, and I can't understand it. And I'm like, we could have had F1. This could have been this nice interest between all of us.
We could have had this thing together.
Yeah. And instead you kept talking to me about cricket and football, and I'm like, I have no clue. But I love that.
No, we could have had this thing that we actually shared.
Yeah, exactly. I love that DTS was part of your journey as well, because there's so much people have such a negative view on DTS, and DTS girly is coming into the fan space. And I'm there's nothing wrong with it. It's made it so accessible for people.
Exactly. No, I think it's such a good thing. Obviously, I think if you're just aware when you're going into it that it is going to be dramatized, it is TV, it's reality TV in a bit of a way, then you're fine as long as you know that that's what's going on. But yeah, definitely for me, just to kind of figure out who the drivers were before, where they came from, their journeys to where they are now, really helped and just get me into it as a recap. Yeah. But I think it's really good in that way, and people just hate on it. But it brought in a new audience, keeping F1 alive. You know, I think before that it wasn't really, not that it wasn't popular, obviously it was, but after DTS came out, it had a whole, what's the word?
A renaissance.
Resurgence? Yeah. I don't know what the word is. But of fans coming into it. So I think it's a good thing.
Covered the F1 side, and then fashion, because you're slightly unique in the way you do your videos, because it's not just about F1. You do a lot of fashion-based content with F1 as well. So when did you really get into like fashion and styling and everything?
I feel like I've always been into fashion. Like my mum dressed me like I was the coolest kid. Like, as it sounds so,
no, I love it. Own it.
Like that. My mum like always had such good style, and she always dressed me like really cool when I was little. And then like as I've grown up, I've always really liked fashion. Obviously, there's like, I'm looking back in the summer outfits where I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I wore that. But like, you know, at the time, it was good. It looked good. And I think I was always a bit different to my friends, but I had this one friend, Amelia, and she was the person who definitely brought it out of me, because I had style, but she was very like colorful and patterns, and I never really did that until her. And then from there, it was just like, I think I was more experimental with the things that I wore. But yeah, I just like trying different things, seeing what works. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Basically, from my mum is how I got it.
I love
She's always had good style, so
I think it helps when you've got someone to kind of like model that off. And like, if your mum's dressing you and like showing you those things, you're just exposed to it more.
Exactly, definitely. And I didn't have many friends who were like into fashion apart from that friend. So like once I got older and was like meeting new people and meeting like-minded people online, I think it definitely helped with my style. Just meeting people who were not different, but weren't just wearing the normal thing that everyone, I guess, was wearing as such. With Instagram and stuff, like obviously I got to see a lot more different style and see how people like wore things. And I think I just like take bits and pieces from what I liked from different people. Like, because some things like people that I follow, I like some of the things they wear, and then some of the things I'm not as keen on, but that's just like personal preference, and that's fine. So I just take bits and pieces from places, I think. Yeah.
No, I love that. And it's like, I think when you get older as well, like drunk when you're in school, there is still that feeling of I'm slightly self-conscious because I'm around all of these peers who are the same age as me and they're judging me. But like you hit an age where you're like, I could not care less anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the best thing, when you can realize that you don't have to care. Like I remember one time I went out and I had it's like a matching set and then this thing about it. Maybe it looked a bit like pajamas because of the style of it, but I loved that outfit. I felt so good in it, and I felt really confident in it. I remember just people staring at me, and I was like, I bet they think, I'm pretty sure I heard someone say, is that pajama or something like that. But at first I was a bit self-conscious, but I was like, no, because I feel good in this. I feel confident in it. So like, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about it, just that I feel good in it. I think that's when you get to a point when you're like, no, I look good and I feel good, that you just don't care, and it's so much better.
Oh my gosh, no, I 100% agree with you. Like when you stop caring so much about what people think, life just feels so much better. We covered it a little bit before, your journey about coming into F1, but how did you really start creating that content? What made you want to sort of open up TikTok and post content about it?
So like I had my personal TikTok and I would follow like F1 like content creators and stuff, and my friend Jolie, I hadn't created any TikToks on it on F1 or anything, but I was in London and I was like, we should meet up. So we did, and she had her account and I was talking to her about it, and I was like, I don't know if I can create it. Like, I feel like I don't know enough about F1 yet, whether I should do this or not. And she was just like, just start. Like, that's what you have to do. You just have to start. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't try it. Like, at least try to do it. So that's when I did it. I did my first post, and then I was just kind of went from there. And then it was kind of like figuring out, how do I do F1 and fashion? Because I know everybody always talks about, like, you know, to do well, you have to have a niche. But I was like, I don't want one thing. Like, that's just not me, and I can't do that. Like, I've got other parts of my personality that, like, I wanted to show. And it took a bit of time, but, like, I think I've got to a good place. But then still at the moment, I'm still learning what works for me. Like, I'm trying to do, obviously, stuff that's not completely fully related to F1, but, like, linking things back to it. But, yeah, seeing how it goes.
No, I love it because, like, you have niched with it as well. I think even though you've got fashion and F1, they've become so intertwined with each other lately that, like, seeing the way you, like, style outfits, and it's like, yeah, if I were to attend this Grand Prix or this event, this is what I would wear. And I think it's stuff that's also really useful for people because, one, it shows them, it doesn't have to just be super conventional fashion where it's like jeans and a top all the time. You can, like, layer stuff, mix and match, and it makes them feel a bit more confident going to those events as well. So I think you really help with that, because I look at those outfits and I'm like, I could do something like that.
No, I tried to, like, mix something up, but then I realized most of the time when I'm planning these outfits, the weather is never something I take into account. But because I film it like obviously in advance, I don't know exactly what the weather's going to be for that event. So I just kind of hope for this best. I'm like, well, just take an umbrella with you. You'll be fine. Give us a...
It's like umbrella and like a raincoat, guys, and you'll be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. But I think that brings me to sort of like planning your content, because like the way you edit your videos is so beautiful. Like it must take a lot of time, and then you're trying to pull outfits together. So I'm gonna guess it takes a fair bit for you to get all of that done.
Yeah, I try to like obviously plan my outfits out, and then I film it, and then I try to do like all the filming in one day, try and get that done, and then I'll start on the edits. But then it's like you have to obviously go through TikTok. I'm trying to find good songs to edit to. Sometimes it's trying to find more trending songs, but then sometimes it's just I think songs that would go with the vibe of the outfit sometimes. And then when you're editing, obviously, I'm generally editing it to the beat. So it takes a lot of time to like figure out. But one thing I do to make things a bit easier for myself, like telling everyone my secrets right now, is I'll do, when it's like a Grand Prix, I'll do 3 GA and then 3 for paddock. And I'll do the same song, like, so I only pick 3 songs, and it just makes it easier also just for me to get the content out, because like it's long enough, like just figuring out the song and how it's gonna like split like the video, that I'm like, I could not do this doing it to, like 6 songs. That'd be way too long. So I'm like 3 will be plenty.
No, 100% it works, because the videos come out looking amazing. But it's just insane to think, you're lining up 3 songs and then having everything down to the beat, putting the outfits together, and then editing, I'm guessing, is probably not like a straightforward task.
Yeah, I mean, I've like done editing before, but like obviously it's not the most like complicated editing, but it's just like getting the right points, and then sometimes like it's like I want to line up movements from different shots, so it's trying to get them in the right place and everything. But slowly getting better at it, but like I think it's going okay.
Doing
still
so
figuring out what works for me, but I like doing it.
No, you need to like blow your own trumpet here. It's going so well. Like they're mesmerizing videos to watch, because I'm just like, it all just fits so together. It itches something in my brain when I watch them, so I'm like, oh, it just looks good.
Sometimes I'm so bad, I swear I just watch my videos over and over again, or like I'll go and scroll, and it's so bad. I'm like, Nyah, you shouldn't be doing this. This is like,
I love that.
Really weird.
No, it's not weird. You should.
I'm like, I feel really proud of that edit, and I'm like, that was a good one. You did good on that one.
I 100% do the same. There are like 1 or 2 videos, or like if I've done stuff with Driven by Us, where I'm like, I'm really proud of that. I'm just gonna go back, especially like if you're feeling low in confidence or something. It's like, let me just go back to this one video I know did well.
No, definitely.
That kind of brings me on to the next point of like, I think content creating in general can make people feel kind of scared, and like they can get really self-conscious about it. And then with fashion as well, there are people who are going to be like, I don't really want to do stuff that's not the norm, that's not, you know, jeans, t-shirts, sort of stuff they're really comfortable in, which is absolutely fine as well. So would you have any advice to people who are trying to content create, or like just trying to experiment with style more as well?
Like I said before, I think it's about getting to that stage of not caring, and that's hard. Like even I sometimes I still like have those times where like, oh, what are people going to think of this? But I think now, like even when I just made a TikTok this morning, and I was doing like a get ready talking about like F1 and stuff, and I had like my towel wrapped around my hair, and I'm like, I'm posting this online. And I was like, but I didn't care. Like I didn't have a second thought about it. But also, I guess obviously random people can see it, but then I also have this idea of it's my audience, my friends are seeing it. Like I don't know, you just get to that point where, like I said, you don't care. Like there's a stage where you get to the point, and if you want to do it, you just have to post the content. You're never going to know. And the thing is, you're always going to get people who don't like the content, but that's what's not made. Clearly, that's not who the audience is for. If they don't like it, it's not for them. And I think that's the kind of view you have to have on it. Like I said, when people have niches, it's because that's not for everyone. My content isn't for everyone. That's fine. But it's there for the people who see it. I did make a video literally talking about this. I was like, you have to think that not everyone's going to like it, and that is okay. Like it will find the audience and the people
100%.
That need to see it as such. I don't know if that made any sense.
And I agree. I think the majority of people that are watching your content are going to be watching it because they enjoy what you're doing and what you're creating, and there are always going to be people who will watch stuff and then comment hate, and I'm like, you've just got nothing better to do with your time.
Yeah, like, why you spent your time watching the whole video through just to comment this?
I think it ends up being so much worse when it's like people with a faceless account, like they're on private, they've got like maybe 100 followers but no videos or anything. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, honestly.
Yeah, the hiding behind it just gives them this like weird sort of confidence that they can just say anything, and I'm like, no, it's not quite how that works.
No, 100%. And I think like we're not even posting controversial content, you know, like there are specific TikTokers who will post views that are controversial, like because they want the interaction like that, which is fair.
Yeah,
but I'm like, I'm just talking about F1, guys, and about a GP weekend, like please leave me alone. What am I saying?
What's going on stating that.
Exactly.
Like one of my videos, because I do the like I'll rate the drivers like fits on the days or whatever, and I was doing that, and one guy was like, it's not a fashion show or whatever, and I was just like,
isn't it?
It's a bit of fun, but also, isn't it? Because I made a video about this today, coming back full circle, how like, all the teams have sponsors, they're doing photo shoots and all these things, and like fashion is connected to it, and I'm like, fair enough, clearly you're not watching that side of it, but I was like, this bit isn't made for you, you don't have to comment, just click off the video, that's literally all you have to do. I don't understand, like, just don't click on it then, if you don't want it, you don't like it, don't need to tell me, I don't care.
Legit, it's like, I think this is it, like F1 has embraced more of the fashion, like you said, there are so many sponsors, and like the drivers themselves have personal sponsors with fashion brands, they have apparel brands now, like they're not gonna wear, like you see Lewis walking in with like the Dior bag, he's not doing that so nobody can take a photo of it, he wants those photos of him with that item.
Exactly, like he made like a whole, he said something where he was like, if I'm gonna get pictures taken of me, I want to look like good going into it. It's been a thing for a long time, but like I think it's been picking up again with like obviously more of the paddock and them inviting more like influencers and like fashiony people. Like they're obviously clearly wanting this aspect of it. So
it's true, yeah. You know, talking about that and like, that guy commenting being like, oh, you know, it's not a fashion show and everything, but we're seeing the impact that people like Lewis are having in the paddock with fashion, and we're seeing drivers like Zhou Guanyu being more comfortable to then wear like more fashion forward clothing, Yuki Tsunoda, and like even some of like Fernando Alonso, I swear, always used to be in team kit, and he has been way more open about wearing stuff that is no longer team kit. Yeah,
and like, because isn't Hugo Boss the sponsor for Aston Martin? Like seeing them like go in those clothes. So obviously that's what I'm saying. Like it's partly work, but it's nice to also see them in clothes that are just a bit different. Like I think also just leading up to it kind of separates it a bit before the driving, I think, but just to show their personality, because that's what clothing does. Like it helps to show personality, which is like what I like. Get to see a different side of the driver. If
there is one team though I wish would embrace it more, it's Ferrari. Like
every week I see it, and obviously it's just here, and I'm like, when I do those slideshow videos, I'm like, what's the point of even putting this in there? Because I should just skip them. I don't know why I ever put it in there. Every time I'm just like, team kit again, so it's got to be a no from me. But it's like you see them outside of it, and you know they can style themselves. So I don't know if it's like on their contract or something, because I'm like, surely it must be, because everyone else is pretty much wearing different clothes now.
But that's
at least on like media day and stuff like that.
But I think that's insane, because like Ferrari are one of the most known brands in the world, let alone in Formula One. Your drivers don't need to wear team kit, we know.
Exactly, and also the fact that they have their own fashion brand. I'm surprised that they're not wearing that. Like they've literally done adverts for them, so I'm surprised they're not bringing that into it, because that would be like another way to sell the Ferrari brand. I had no clue Ferrari had a fashion brand until I saw the advert that Charles and Carlos did. No clue until I saw that.
So I am like, maybe when Lewis joins Ferrari, because I'm like, I swear Charles is trying. He is dying to wear stuff that is not team kit walking into the paddock.
I can't wait for like Lewis to help him.
Oh god.
because like he's not bad, he's getting better. Girlfriend effect, I'm gonna say it's gonna be, but he's still learning, and I need Lewis to that. But like, you can't imagine Lewis having to cut. Lewis isn't going to be walking into the paddock in team kit every day, is he? Like, it's probably part of his contract. He's like, I'm not wearing team kit when we're going in. Like, that's not going to happen. Sorry.
Like the Ferrari polo shirt as well. Like, he doesn't even wear the proper Mercedes team kit. He went for an oversized version of the top, which I love. Lewis in a polo shirt would be awful.
No, thank you. You can pull anything off, but no.
So, do you think, especially more recently, that F1's relationship with fashion is getting better, even though we still have fans who are like, I'm not a fan of it, I hate it, it's not a fashion show? Do you think it's helping F1 though, and it's helping the new fan base that's coming as well be more interested in Formula One?
I think so, but also I think on the people, generally girls, I guess, are more into fashion, not the guys aren't. But the thing is, like, the general merch isn't always nice, like the basic, because it's generally it's like team kit is the merch, but now that they're collaborating, they've got a way to show your support but still look fashionable, which is what I really like. Like, obviously Levi's and McLaren have just done a collaboration, which I think was so cool. Obviously it was very expensive, so it's not really in everybody's price range. It's only one thing I'm like about, but then again, it probably was at what Levi's price points were originally, so fair dues. But it's actually stuff I'd wear, which is what I'm liking about it, which I also think is something with the drivers having their own merch per driver. They can make that more fashionable because they can do it how they want to. Not saying everybody's merch is fashionable, but we're getting there slowly.
I think looking specifically at Lewis and his impact in the paddock, because he's had a global impact, I think, not just in F1, but do you think he's really helped the other drivers feel more comfortable in wearing what they want in the paddock? Because he's someone that's had a lot of flack online for the stuff that he's worn, because sometimes it isn't what people think is masculine, you know? Like, and I put that in inverted commas because I think fashion is for everyone and it's whatever you want to wear. But like, I think people come after him like, why are you wearing this stuff? But do you think that's made everyone else feel more comfortable in the paddock?
I like to think that. I always think he's been out there with his thing. Like, obviously he's definitely grown in his fashion journey, but I also think that's amazing to see, because you've obviously seen him become more comfortable over the years with his choice of clothing. And obviously, like, looking back, you would see, especially I'd say like some of the younger drivers, like just doing the team kit and everything. But like I said, it's been a journey for them. They've slowly started to figure out their style, wear things that they enjoy. And even if it's just simple, just, you know, like I said, not team kit. And it's just learning what you like. Like, it takes time to develop style. And obviously Lewis has had longer than, like, not all drivers, but most of the drivers, to figure out what he's comfortable in. And I think that also, like, what he's comfortable in doesn't mean, like, say Lando has to be comfortable in that sort of thing, because everybody's style is different, and that's fine. I think, like I said before, just wearing what makes you feel good is the most important thing. But yeah, hopefully that made sense.
No, definitely. And I think it's true. It's like, seeing him go from, because he used to wear, like, it was like the bright blonde hair before, like the platinum bleached blonde hair that he had, and then like I know people don't like it. I loved that look. I would kill for him to bring back like the bleached blonde hair again.
Bring it back.
But it's like, he did tend to wear like a lot of ripped skinny jeans and stuff that you would tend to see in a lot of stores, and it's more high fashion now at times, and I love seeing that.
No, I think again he has a lot of thought into his clothing, like the Met Gala look. Like, it may have looked simple, but like, fashion isn't just like what it was the meaning and the message that was behind it, which you obviously wouldn't get if you saw it, but once he tells you, like, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
But I think that's it. It's like fashion, and especially if you're into it, you are going to look for that meaning or try and understand it more. And I think for the everyday person watching the Met Gala, which is me, because I don't know much about fashion, but it's like, I just like seeing what people wear, but then there will be people that will really understand the designers and things like that, and it makes it that much more interesting for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I really like watching the Met Gala. Like, that sit at home crate, like, I could never afford whatever they're wearing, but I'll just slander or I think it's because, like, obviously Met Gala has a theme and stuff, so I'm always like, don't know how I feel about this. Like, I was saying how, like, if a man turns up in just a plain, like, tuxedo, just kick them out. They shouldn't even be allowed to go there.
It's like, you're not even trying.
That's like me with, like, the paddock. I'm like, they shouldn't be allowed in team kit. They need to be just wearing something else. Like, anytime I see Oscar just in, like, his pair of shorts, his plain t-shirt and a backpack, I'm like, snap. It's because I'm like, as long as it's not team kit, I'm here for it.
I love that. Like with Max, if he came in something that wasn't full out team kit, I would be slightly worried because I'm so used to seeing him in it now. And he doesn't strike me as the type of guy who really cares a lot about fashion, which is fair. But I'm like, yeah, if I saw him without team kit, I'd be like, what's wrong?
Yeah, I'm just surprised. Like I said, like with the girlfriend effect, like I feel like Esteban Ocon, since he's had his girlfriend, style's gone up. And I'm like, yeah, like it's slowly developing. And I'm like, just seeing him try different stuff, I'm really liking it. I feel like with Max, considering Kelly seems to be into fashion, I thought he would have changed a bit. Like, I don't know, like, I know he's wearing like, okay, maybe a white shirt and skinny jeans, but maybe we can try something that isn't skin tight jeans, like even a trouser that's just slightly loose to straight leg. Amazing. My jaw would be on the floor because the bar is low. Like, I know he's not here for fashion. I get it. Like, they're here for racing, but I can still comment on people's fashion, okay?
No, that's fair. I think we just need to bring you in as a stylist. Like, look, you don't have to completely veer away from what you're comfortable with, but just a different set of trousers. Yeah. Maybe not the Red Bull.
Honestly, my dream. Yeah. No, my dream is to, like, go with the team and be able to, like, style the drivers. What I thought, I watched a video, I think it was Kota, where I think it was the McLaren boys. I might be wrong. They went to like get the like cowboy boots done and stuff like that. But I was like, it'd be so fun to do something like that, but make like a whole outfit, like take them somewhere, do a whole like fit thing on theme. That would be the dream. Yes. I'd have to not be harsh and be like, no, don't wear that. Like that was not a good look. Honestly, I was just thinking, Lando's look today. So
yes,
whenever this comes out, British GP. It's Wednesday. I was like, oh my gosh, like. It was so good compared to the past couple of weeks of what he's been wearing. I was like, thank God you pulled it out for your race.
He knew, home race. He knew.
I was like, this is good. Like, yeah, I was like, you knew, you pulled the stocks out. I remember when he went from like having skinny jeans to having like a slightly wider jean, and I was like, yes, let's go. This is the start of something new.
I love that.
We're going to get somewhere. But also, you know what gets me is that these drivers have so much money. Why do they not have a stylist? It gets me every time.
Oh my gosh,
And they go out shopping and stuff. But I bet it's the most basic thing, except it costs like 10 times the price. Like a plain white t-shirt should only cost you like 10, £20 max. And it's costing like 100, 200, you know what I mean? I'm like, what? I just don't get why you'd spend the money on something like that for something so basic.
No, look, I completely agree. Like,
so bad.
If I had their money, one of the first things I would do is like, I need a stylist because you guys are going to help me sort out my wardrobe and like just dress me. And like, you're in public so much. I'm like, come on, guys, let's bit more effort.
Maybe that's why they just have the team kit. It makes it all easy. Like with the McLaren boys going to these events, they're just wearing their team kit. And I'm like, maybe that's why. Maybe it's like Steve Jobs, you know, like how we had to wear, like, he just wore the same black polo and stuff every day. So he had to think less. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's, I'm sure they'd say that.
That would definitely be a Max reason, I feel, because he puts so much effort into the racing and the sim racing. I think he's definitely like, why the hell would I care about what I'm wearing? I have a race to win here, guys. Like, can you not see me leading the championship right now? Like, if you had to style one driver, though, like you had to pick your dream driver to style, who would you pick?
That's hard, because it's like, do I pick someone who I think has the worst taste so I can get them somewhere? Do I pick my favorite drivers, or I think I'd love to do a styling thing with Lewis because like he has good taste already. Like I know we could come up with something really cool, but then I'd also be really scared that he would hate what I'd pick because he already has like good style. Oh, I don't know. This is the thing, like when people ask me for their advice, I'm just like, oh, I hope they like what I'm picking out for them. I think Lewis would be really cool because I know that he would be up to try different things, whereas I feel like I'd have to be a bit more tame with other drivers. Like we'd have to start. It'd be a really slow process. But who else would I want to do? Maybe people, like I said, like I feel like Lando's getting more into fashion. I feel like that could be a good one. Joe.
Yes, definitely.
Would be good. Just people who are like like I said, Joe and I think Lewis are probably the best people because they're more open to things. But then if I was going to go with like people who don't have it well, it'd be Max. Just because I'm like, we need to sort you out. Like, he'd probably be like, I don't want to do this. And it would be like, he'd be forced to do it.
Like, you need to talk to
I didn't think that he was going to be like annoyed about it, then yeah, it'd be fine.
I would love to see you style Fernando Alonso.
I also think it'd be so funny. I feel like I feel like he'd be up for it as well.
Exactly.
I feel like he's a funny guy. Like, he'd be up for it. That'd be such a fun TikTok to do.
So
I love that. Especially, like I said, like, he has the best TikTok. Like, I love Aston Martin's TikTok. I love his TikTok. Obviously, it's run by like the Aston Martin team, but you know, it's funny. I really enjoy it. So I feel like he'd definitely be up to doing something funny like that. That'd be so good, actually. Like, I've loved seeing him, like, the recent looks that he's been wearing. And I'm like, this is so nice to see, like, another side.
Yeah.
Definitely. That'd be a good one.
I think, Lewis, Show, Max would just be amazing to see what you could actually get him into. But I would want you to pick the most outrageous outfits for him just to see what he would do.
Yeah. I know. I feel like the only thing that the first stage would be a jean which was slightly wider legs. That'd be the first stages of it. And then we'd slowly progress from there. Slowly. It'll be a long time, be a long thing.
I think if you told him like it's a Red Bull thing, like they're saying you have to do it, because half of the stuff he does for Red Bull media, like whenever you see the videos, I'm like, how much of this is you wanting to do it and how much has Red Bull said you have to? Like, you don't have a choice. It's in your contract.
It's in your contract. You have to do this.
Legit. Yeah. Like, they've had to twist your arm for a couple of things.
Like, stuff like that. Yeah, like you wouldn't have done this by choice, but because it's part of your career,
you don't have a choice anymore, mate. So we were talking about team merch earlier, and it feels like a sponsor board. Like, you're just wearing so many logos when you buy any F1 merch, but fan merch that we see created is so beautiful and so much better. Do you kind of wish Formula One would try and do more of that? Like, there's still that space for fan merch, but still make it less of a sponsor board. No,
definitely, because it's basically, it is the team kit, like what the drivers are wearing. Like, that might be, like, some people might like that, but I just find that for the cost of it, the fact that I can't really wear it, like, I can't style it with anything else. Like, I've tried, and it's hard. I just don't. And, like, I have two pieces. I have some McLaren and a Red Bull top, and I don't tend to wear it out. Like, I cannot style it. Like, it's so hard. Like, I love how you've got like the Abercrombie, McLaren stuff. Well, it's not just with McLaren, but like F1 stuff, because it's stylish. Like, and I think that was like a good step. But again, and it's more like affordable as well, and it looks nicer. So of course I'm going to go with the more affordable, nice looking thing over the bad F1 merch. Like, it just is. It's just not good. Like, maybe a cap I'd buy, but like, apart from that, and again, those things were bought for me from like parents and stuff like that, but I would not have spent my own money on it.
No, I get it, because it's insane. Like, the price is like 50-60 quid, and it's not necessarily stuff I want to wear.
It's ridiculous.
It's not stuff I want. Like, I get it for, you know, and I'm not stereotyping, but a lot of men who aren't into fashion but love Formula One will be willing to buy that merch, because it's like buying like your footy team's top, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't see, and I think especially with the influx of female fans that we've had in, I'm like, you guys need to up your game, because a lot of girls do not want to wear 60 sponsors on their top. Sorry, like, that is not what we want to do.
Yeah, I know that like the football tops have been like coming back in trend, and I've literally got one that's like, it's not an actual football top, but it's in the style of it, and I think that looks cool. If like, or like, I know there's like the baseball jersey style ones, but I think it's the cut and the style of the top that like, it makes it look good, whereas this is just the most basic cut tee that it's like
can't do much,
not really much going into it, you know. They're just taking the exact same design they've got for team kit, but slightly changing it. Like, it's not very different as well. There's potential, but it's one of those things where I don't understand. There are so many creatives, I don't know why they can't just hire someone to do like a creative drop or something. I guess that's why you have like individual drivers coming up with their own merch, obviously for their fans to support that driver particularly, but because the merch they have with their number, their name on the back from the company just isn't great. Like, people don't want to wear that out.
No. And I think, seeing like Daniel Ricciardo, Alex Albon, Lewis Hamilton with their merch lines, like I can still support that driver. And sometimes it's really subtle. Like I think Daniel Ricciardo's merch in particular, you wouldn't necessarily think that's coming from a Formula One driver.
Yeah, especially his, because obviously it's like this whole other kind of brand. But it's the thing of like, if you know, you know. So I know that the right person will know. If they see it, they'll be like, oh, she's a Daniel Ricciardo fan, you know what I mean? Like that's like you were saying, like the things where it's a bit more subtle, like it looks really good. You know you're supporting them. It's got this link back to them, but it's not like just in your face at the same time, like you said, with all the logos and whatnot on it from the sponsors.
Like massive prancing horse,
which is nice,
across my top, being like, I love Scuderia Ferrari, guys. Can you not tell?
Yeah.
But I think the last thing I wanted to ask you, veering a bit away from fashion, but into more F1, you're a McLaren fan, you're a Lando fan in particular. What are your hopes for the rest of the season? Because he has had such a good run lately. The McLaren car has looked amazing. It's made me super excited to watch F1 again, because I think I was going through a period where I was like, But what are your hopes for Lando?
Hoping for more wins. Touch wood. Touch wood. I feel like it's getting much, like, especially with the car in general, I feel like it's getting much closer battles up front. Whereas I think last year it was very much Max completely out of the way. Like even when you were watching Formula One, you barely saw Max on the coverage because he was just so far ahead. But like the battles were only happening either mid or the back of the pack was where the Infinity. You had no clue what was really going on at the beginning. So it's really nice to see these like battles and things coming up again. But I'm excited to see how it goes. Like I said, hopefully we're going to get some more McLaren. Obviously, I love Oscar as well, so hoping that goes. Oh, it's so hard. Like I'd say Lando's probably my favorite, but like I'm like a person rather than like a team generally. And like I don't like anyone. Like I just like certain people more.
I think that's
but I mean, sometimes it's good not to just be like solely focused on one driver, because I'm like, if they have a bad day, I can be like, oh, at least my other driver's done well.
I've got my bases covered here. I'm not going to stop watching the race just because my favourite's DNF.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, if they don't do well, we go to this one. Okay, they're not doing well, this one, and so on and so on. But like I'm going through it and I'm just like having to look up and down the board at like my favorite drivers and be like, oh no. Like sometimes I just don't have expectations, because like I'm a Alex Albon fan, but like the Williams just aren't doing that great at the moment.
It's bad.
So it's just like, well, at least I've got Lando, Oscar, Max and people doing well up there. Like I feel a bit better about that.
Love that.
I'll still always support him. I'll still always support Alex, but...
No, I know what you mean, but it's like, you need to know that you've got drivers right at the front who are battling it. And with Alex, I'm like, as long as he finishes the race, I'm happy.
Honestly, that's all I can ask for at this point.
It's like, we're asking for the bare minimum, Williams. Just get the car to the finish line, please. And maybe not another broken chassis this season.
I know, I feel like, I don't know this last season, but I felt like he was doing better. Like, he was finishing in the top 10 or like closer.
No, definitely.
I think it was last year more. And I was just like, hoping for that this year, and it's just not
happening.
Been like that. And I feel like he just has so much potential. I'm just like, come on, I know you can do this.
No, honestly, it's frustrated me because I feel like Williams have just gone backwards, and I'm like, but Alex could literally help you get podiums
it's a shame.
if you just give him the car. Like, he's grown so much from when he was in Red Bull.
Yeah, no, I fully believe that. I fully believe he could do better in a better car. Like, but just talking about like positions and places, like I feel like next year the grid is going to be so mixed up. Like, I think just from like Lewis moving to Ferrari, like that was the catalyst, and now everything is going to be like, nothing's going to be the same. Obviously, Oliver Behrman today just got into the seat at Haas,
so happy about that.
Anything can happen. I was like, no one would have thought Lewis to Ferrari. So now I'm just like, really, anything can happen. I should not be surprised with changes. Are we going to get another different driver on there? Who knows? Because
I was surprised that Red Bull signed Sergio Perez. Like, not being mean to him or anything, but I was like, this early in the season, you've opted to sign him. You didn't even wait until summer break. And I honestly thought they would have taken Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, no, I did think at one point it was going to be Carlos 7. Like, at the moment, I'm thinking maybe Carlos is going to Williams just because of the rumours of, like, Logan doing, like, IndyCar. So obviously, those are just rumours. But also, when I was, like, thinking of pairings, I was like, who as drivers are going to work well together? Like,
Yeah.
how do I see them together? Because I remember, like, obviously George with Mercedes, and I was like, who? They were saying Esteban Ocon Mercedes. I was like, I don't see them as a pair. Like, I don't see them as a duo.
I can't see them working
like,
well together.
No, I just don't see that working. But we'll see.
I think, yeah, the news about Ollie going to Haas, I'm like, I feel like it's not going to be long until the rest of the seats are filled now, because I don't think we have too many left anyway.
No, I've got Stake.
Yes.
Haas.
Williams.
What else have we got? Williams.
V-Carb haven't actually confirmed Daniel Ricciardo yet.
No, Aston Martin. No, yeah. I'm honestly, I love Daniel Ricciardo, but I really would love to see Liam Lawson with a seat.
No, I get what you mean.
So badly.
I think him and Yuki being reunited as well.
It's like, I'd love to see these different drivers in, but then I'm like, it means like a driver's going to be out. So it's like, who am I willing to like swap like with?
No, I know what you mean. It's like, I want to keep them all. Like, can we just have all of them on the grid, please?
I want them all, but like, it's going to be a strange one, I feel like, next year. But I'm excited.
No, definitely. Thank you, though, so much for coming on today. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. Sorry if I babbled a bit.
No, don't be silly. I've absolutely loved it. And, like, it's nice to hear someone who actually knows about fashion talk about it. Because I'm sitting there like, this looks cute. I don't like this. Like, I don't know about that. And that's it. That's the extent of, like, me and my fashion knowledge.
I try.
No, it was so good talking to you. And I am going to link all of Nyah's social media accounts in the show notes and the description. So make sure you guys go and follow her if you're not already, because you definitely won't regret that, I promise. Her videos, honestly, could scroll and go through them for hours. But thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well at stewards_office, and I will see you guys the next time you're summoned to the Stewards office.